Let me tell you, when I was a kid, my favorite part of Halloween was carving pumpkins. When my brother and I were much younger, we would just watch our dad while he carved, since we were too young to use the knives and all. Not too many years later, though, we were a little older and could be trusted to carve our own. I was way better at it than my brother, but he didn't seem to mind. He wasn't into the artistry of it, not like me. I loved it so much that our dad would take me back to the pumpkin fields every few days. So I could, continue creating my masterpieces, of course. Everyone loved my pumpkins. The neighbors would always say how talented I was at crafting such expressive faces. My dad even started calling me his little Carver. I even started carving pumpkins for people in the neighborhood. Pretty soon, everyone had one of my famous pumpkins on their front stoop. I remember my dad bragging to one of the neighbors that I could probably carve a pumpkin in my sleep. The Halloween after I turned 12. Now that was special. I got more candy than any other night of trick-or-treating in my entire life. People gave me extra as a way of saying thank you for the pumpkins. There was so much that I had to give some to my brother, which I normally wouldn't do. He gave me a big hug and said he loved me. So I smacked him and called him an idiot. Oh, just brothers being brothers. We ate so much candy, we went to bed with stomach aches. That night, I had a dream that I went to the pumpkin fields alone. It was dark, and all I could see in every direction were pumpkins of all shapes and sizes. I strolled through the rows, searching for just the right one. A voice from behind me said, "Pick me!" So I turned around and saw a huge, magnificent pumpkin. It was almost as big as I was, and looked ripe for the carving. A knife appeared in my hand, and I went to work, stabbing and slicing as inspiration took over. When I was finished, it was the greatest creation of my young life. My chest swelled with pride, and I took a step back to admire my achievement. The next morning, they rushed my brother to the hospital, but well, you know how the story ends, Doc.
Yes, I do know, Michael. But now it's time for you to dig deeper and focus on what happened to your little brother. It's time for you to come to terms with what you did. I want you to really think about that before our next session. Mr. Jones, if you would, please escort Michael back to his room.
Yes, Doctor.
Patient 1031, still displaying narcissistic tendencies, and refuses to confront his part in his brother's death. It's my recommendation that he be isolated from the other patients and confined to his room during the month of October to avoid any additional incidents like those in previous years.
Thanks for listening. Now, if you don't mind, I have a bit of carving to do of my own.